Okay, Michaelia Cash will join me shortly to speak about this, but now let's have a look at some of the other big stories around today. Leaked Treasury advice obtained by the ABC appears to show a list of pre-written outcomes that the federal government thinks should come from its economic roundtable, the one it's having next week. Now, far from the open-minded smorgasbord of policy ideas that it was intended to be. The list includes speeding up housing approvals, pausing the changes to the National Construction Code, cutting environmental red tape, clearing housing approval backlogs and more. Well, to discuss, joining me now is WA Liberal leader Basil Zempilas and National Senator M.Canavan. Great to see you both. So, Matt,
Sharri,
you know, this roundtable was meant to be first productivity, then an economic roundtable, meant to be to come up with ideas, but now there's this suggestion or accusation that it's all a predetermined set of outcomes because of this leaked Treasury list. What do you think? Is this roundtable just window dressing for the government policy wish list?
Well, it sounds like the government's already written the script here, haven't they? I mean, Jim Chalmers is playing less the role of our nation's treasurer and more Steven Spielberg. He's a movie producer, just positioning his actors and actresses around the stage. And a question would have to be asked to all those people going along, giving up their time to this so-called productivity roundtable is, are they just props? Are they just props for the Labor Party here to give a veneer of respectability to a bunch of wish list proposals they were going to do anyway? This whole exercise has gone way off the rails. It started because I think finally the government realised they needed to do something about productivity. Keep in mind 3 years ago when they held their very similar stage-managed Jobs and Skills Summit, they did not even invite the Productivity Commission along. The government did not talk about productivity. They totally missed it. And I'm not trying to be a Monday expert here. I wrote a column for the Courier Mail 3 years ago saying that they need to mention the P word at that Jobs and Skills Summit. They need to get focused on productivity. Well, in the 3 years since, we've seen productivity fall by more than 5%. After the election, Jim Chalmers decided, geez, I better do something about that. He's come up with this thought bubble of an idea, and there's not much coming out of it, I think, that's going to move the dial.
Basil, we've also seen the Prime Minister appear to be downplaying any suggestion that there would be major reform from this summit. I mean, is that concerning as well, already putting limits on it?
Sharri, I'm sorry, I've just lost you, so I can't hear you. I'll let you go back to Matt, because I've got no audio coming my way.
We'll come back to that.
Now I have. I've got you back.
Great. Well, I was just asking you about how the Prime Minister keeps downplaying the suggestion that there would be real reform, major reform from this summit.
Yeah, well, clearly it's been choreographed, clearly a predetermined script. We've seen it now, and therefore you'd assume predetermined outcomes. The people, I think, who will be the most disappointed, as Matt has pointed out, if you're invited along to something like that, it's contagious. If you're invited along in good faith and then are drawn into a script, you have every right to be disappointed. And I'd be watching pretty closely over the next few days whether anyone that's been invited along happens to pull out, because they say, well, hang on a second, I've come along in good faith. I thought you wanted my ideas and genuine suggestions for where we could take the country, but actually we're just playing your game for you. I don't know if I want to be a part of that. So I'd be really interested to see if anyone does pull out. And if you're going to do these things, do them properly. Don't make them a choreographed stage show. That's not fair to anyone.
Yeah, and of course, the Treasurer denies that it is predetermined or choreographed. His spokesman said it should come as no surprise that the Treasury provides advice on issues raised with the government. So that's their response to that. Look, one of the things that will be discussed next week, and very controversial, is this idea of the electric vehicle road user charge. Now, Matt, a lot of people bought electric cars because, you know, they were told that it would end up being cheaper. There were various incentives on the table. But was that misleading? Because now they're going to have to pay a road user charge.
Well, absolutely it is, Sharri. And you've also pinpointed, I think, something crucial in this debate. Why does the government want to establish a new tax on people who drive electric cars when at the same time they're massively subsidising the purchase of those electric cars? I mean, if you're not raising enough money, or if you've got a deficit here for your road budget, because of the use of electric cars. How about first just getting rid of the subsidies? The fringe benefit tax subsidy is now costing us $560 million a year, every year, largely going to people on very good incomes. It costs a lot of money to buy an electric car, so the benefits are going to largely rich people. And then on top of that, the state governments, who are often the loudest asking for this EV tax, they are almost all of them providing registration discounts on electric vehicles.
Yeah.
And so if they want to improve the state budget because of the use of electric vehicles, why are they giving discounts on registration to those same vehicles? Sharri, I fear that, like all taxes, you can't trust governments. You couldn't trust them with the incentives they gave you. Now they're going to put in a new per kilometre tax. They'll say it's on electric cars. They'll say it's just on those. Before you know it, all of us will be getting our driving tracked and having to pay more. So that's why I'm against new taxes, because it just means new bureaucracies, new ways of government screwing us all.
Exactly. And, you know, I think you're completely right when you point out the contradiction there, that the subsidies on the one hand, now they're taxing it on the other hand. I mean, what is the idea? Do they want more people to take up electric vehicles or not? And Basil, you do get the sense that the government's just desperately looking for areas where it can claw back some more revenue, where it can put more taxes.
It does seem to be the way, doesn't it? They're certainly trying to increase that base, or at least that's how it seems. It's giving with one hand and taking away with the other. And I think, you know, for a lot of the people that have gone into EVs, they've gone so in good faith. They've gone in with the good intentions. They're trying to do their bit for fewer emissions into our atmosphere. An electric car seems like a reasonable way to play your part. And yet now they're going to be hit or potentially stung with these extra road-using charges. So it's totally counterproductive to what it's trying to achieve. And as Matt said, it's giving with one hand and taking away with the other. Just get rid of the first one and you don't have to do the second one, and let people drive the EVs until that battery runs out.
Yeah, and I think Matt's right that, you know, it could start off as a road charge just for EV users, and then it could end up being a road user charge for everyone. I mean, and that's one of the good things about Australia is we don't have that. You know, you go to a place like London and some people can't afford to drive into the city because there are those taxes. It's kind of crazy. All right, I'm keen to get both of your views on the gender in school debate that I spoke about a bit earlier. Now, Matt, Jacinta Allen was furious to even be asked this question today. She attacked the journalism of Rachel Baxendale. She insisted this reporting should stop. I mean, this is censorship of the hard left, isn't it?
Well, the reason that Jacinta Allen wants the reporting to stop is because she can't justify this outrageous indoctrination of 5-year-old children. I mean, I don't think there'd be too many Victorians out there who think that 5-year-old children should be lectured to about gender, should be spoken to about how their private parts, this is what they're being taught is their private parts aren't necessarily correlated with the gender they're assigned at birth. I mean, my God, like, why are we even talking about this? That's why she wants to censor this, right? You can't explain it. You can't justify it. And so the only way they can keep going with this absurdity is to try and shut people down and silence people from talking about it. And I think most parents have had enough of this rubbish. We need to talk about this, and we need to say enough's enough. We have declining education standards. We can't seem to teach a majority of our children to succeed at basic reading and writing and arithmetic. Yet we're going to teach complex gender theories to 5-year-olds. I mean, what the hell is going on in Victoria? There's a lot more important things to focus on in teaching our young children than this rubbish. They should not be taught this, and it should be scrapped.
I completely agree. I mean, you just want to protect the innocence of children for as long as possible. I mean, most parents don't even let their kids watch the news, Basil, and then you've got the Premier having this in the curriculum and thinking it's a great idea.
It's outrageous. Just let kids be kids, for goodness sake. 5-year-old kids. We've come a long way as it is. Boys can wear pink, girls can wear blue, anyone can wear any colour they want, any colour under the rainbow. Everyone's fine with it, as they should be. Boys can play with Barbie dolls, girls can play with Lego or Tonka trucks. No one cares about any of that stuff. But for goodness sake, just let the kids be kids. Let them make their own learning choices at the age of 5 and work these things out for themselves at their own speed. That's what parents and families want.
I mean, more than anything, you just can't even imagine how confusing that lesson would be for Year K and Year 1 students. Now, just quickly before you go, I saw this story, Matt, and I thought I've got to ask you about it. There's new research out of the United States that says that people who avoid meat are less likely to develop a range of cancers. The study followed 80,000 plant-based eaters for an average of almost 8 years each and found that overall vegetarians had a 12% lower risk of developing cancer than meat eaters in the same community. So Matt, is this enough to make you think about turning vegetarian?
Oh, gee, Sharri, I wish you'd told me this before I just downed a 250-gram rump here at the the Tacking Point Tavern here at Port Macquarie. I'm done for. I'm absolutely done for. But more seriously, Sharri, I mean, the problem here, all of these studies quite often have shown to be rubbish a few years later. You know, all these studies saying you've got to do this or that for your health. The big issue that's not spoken about enough is there is a serious issue with something called replication in the health sciences. They do one study and have this sort of a result, and then they'll do exactly the same study a few years later and generate a completely different result. That is, they cannot replicate the same results with the same study and same hypothesis, and that's a real problem for science. And a lot of scientists just gloss over that and don't focus on the fact that maybe we should be taking some of these results with a grain of salt.
Well, it does seem to be quite
with
a
our
big
steak.
It does seem to be quite a big sample size, but yeah, I'm always sceptical of various studies as well. All right, M.Canavan, Basil Zemplis, great to have you both back as usual on a Thursday. We'll see you.